What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Tap. Again, my name is Michael. I'm very excited to have you, and we are going to be talking 2021 bounce back players. But before we do so, if you could do us a favor and just click that subscribe button, click the like button, and then click that little bell too, so you get reminded every time we drop a new video. We greatly appreciate it, and we really appreciate the support. So let's jump right into it. 2021 bounce back players. I've got 5 of them for you and a couple honorable mentions. Let's start out with the quarterback position. I've talked about him before. Carson Wentz went to the Indianapolis Colts last year. Didn't have the greatest finish. He finished as quarterback 22, and actually that's where he's going right now. ADP of 163.5. He's going off the board as quarterback 22. However, if you take a look at what he did last year, through the first 8 games of the season, he was quarterback 10. And then he was playing very well through that from a fantasy perspective. Obviously, he was throwing picks, but to be honest, picks, unless you're in a high point per pick league, 2 points, 1 point for a pick is not that much, especially when you compare them to 6-point touchdowns and stuff like that. So, but if you look at it through his entire the first 12 weeks, the full 12 games that he started, he was actually quarterback 12. So not a bad fantasy year. A lot of people are taking that the real side, the quote unquote real side of football, I guess you could say, and not looking at it from a fantasy perspective. So you've got to make sure that you're looking through, fantasy football glasses and not, real football glasses. Because if you do so, it's going to totally throw you off. A couple things I like about the switch, and like I said, I've talked about him before, so I'm not going to really stick too much to him, but he's getting a big offensive line upgrade. Last year, the Eagles were ranked 19th per PFF, and then the Colts were ranked 7th. So a pretty good upgrade there in the offensive line. He's also going to have a really strong run game to lean on. Marlon Mack re-signed there. Obviously, they have Jonathan Taylor, and then of course Nyheim Hines is somebody he can rely on out of the backfield to throw the ball to, which would be nice to see. And then, in my opinion, I think Michael Pittman, he's due for, or not due, but I think we see an upgrade in his game this year. And T.Y. Hilton's going to be a reliable target for Carson Wentz. So I like those 2 guys, especially compared to what he had last year. I know he had Dallas Goedert and, Jalen Reagor, for 2 games while he was playing. And then of course, Travis Fulgham showed up, but I think that this is an upgrade. Jack Doyle's there, Mo like Cox. So I don't think that Carson's going to have a problem getting the ball downfield and have some of that pressure taken off of him with the run game. So let's move on to my first running back, and that's going to be Ezekiel Elliott. And I know he finishes the RB11 last year, but it didn't feel like it. It felt like it was pulling teeth to get there. It wasn't a typical Ezekiel Elliott year. But if you look, he's getting Dak Prescott back. The first 5 games when Dak Prescott was healthy, he was the running back 2. He's getting him back. He's also getting Zach Martin back on the offensive line with La'el Collins and Tyron Smith. All 3 of those guys are coming back to that offensive line. So that's huge for Zeke. He also slimmed down over the offseason, put in a lot of work. I know it's just, social media videos and things like that. But that if you've seen him, he has leaned down. He said in an interview that, and take away the Ohio State bias here. He said this is the leanest he's been since college. So that's a good thing. I think we see, taking a little bit better care of himself, not eating as much. And then, of course, his touchdowns last year, he only had 8, which is the lowest of his career so far. I I think we see an increase in that, especially with Dak Prescott back in that offense under center. So I love Zeke this year. I think he's a top 3 running back this year, easily. And I think he sees a bounce back. That's one reason why I've been saying, especially in dynasty leagues, don't trade him away yet. Let him have this massive year because I think it's coming. Moving on, and this one's not. I can't believe I'm saying this. Just Joe Mixon. Okay, he was injured most of last year. But Giovanni Bernard's gone. So that should get him more involved in the passing game. And then, of course, on paper, they have improved their offensive line. Jonah Williams has been there off and on. He was hurt his rookie year, hurt a little bit last year, but, hopefully he takes a step forward. They also signed Riley Reif and I believe Jackson Carman from Clemson is his name. So if that all can come together, hopefully for his sake as well as Burrow's sake, that'll be a better offensive line he can run behind. I think with the passing game they have there too, it's going to take, it's going to ease up on the run game. They may stack the box less, giving him some more opportunities. And of course, like I said, Giovanni Bernard not being there, it's going to get him more involved in that passing game. Last year, Gio had 59 targets. So I'm not saying all of those are going to go to Joe Mixon, but I do think that a fair share will. I think he's going to see the field a lot more, and definitely in any form of PPR, half PPR, full PPR, I think that's going to benefit him tremendously. And then of course, like I was saying, similar to Gio being there, I mean, Joe Burrow's coming off that ACL injury. So getting the ball out quick is going to be key, keeping him healthy, keeping him upright. And like I said, I think that it's going to rest on Joe Mixon's shoulders, partially. So, and he also has shown that he is a good pass blocker. So he'll probably stay on the field for quite a bit, being that he can do that. And they don't really have anybody who is really a threat behind him. I mean, I know Gio's been there for a while. He's mainly the pass catching back, but they don't have anybody like that. They have Samaje Perine and Trayvon Williams. So I don't see any of those guys, really challenging him for that. I think he is the clear number 1 there, and should see the bulk of the work. Let's get to wide receiver. Had 2 originally. I'll mention a couple in the honorable mentions. Really though, Julio Jones. First of all, the Titans have the second most vacated targets coming into this year. I know that doesn't mean too much, but it does mean something. They 185 vacated targets, and they lost 2 of their go-to pass catchers last year, Jonnu Smith and Corey Davis. They also added Josh Reynolds in the offseason, so he should have some type of wide receiver 3 role in this offense. But as for Julio Jones, a lot of what I hear, at least, and see is, can he stay healthy? Can he stay healthy? Can he stay healthy? And I'm not going to lie. I was saying the same thing originally. I was like, he only played 9 games last year. It's kind of worrisome. He's getting up there in age, but really this is the first time that he has missed an extended period of time, since 2013. So it's been a few years. I think the most he missed was 2 games back in 2016. But in between now and 2013, he's played 15, 14, 16 games. So the majority of the games. And last year, one thing that was encouraging, and obviously we all know and have seen, one of the things Julio doesn't do a ton or hasn't done a ton of lately, score touchdowns. But one thing I did like to see, or liked seeing last year, is that he had over 90 yards in 5 out of his 9 games he played. So he's still putting up numbers. And I think in this offense, he will do so. And to be honest, it's not as pass heavy of an offense. Obviously the Titans are compared to the Falcons, but I do think there is a possibility that he takes over this year as the Titans' number 1 wide receiver. I know AJ Brown's there, but Julio's Julio, and that is in the realm of possibilities. So I do like to see Julio have, or am betting on seeing Julio having a comeback season. And then finally, our tight end is going to be Tyler Higbee. I know somebody else I've talked about quite a bit, but they just lost Cam Akers. They don't have Gerald Everett. Last year, he was actually targeted more than Tyler Higbee. He was targeted 62 times compared to Higbee's 60. So plus upgrading in at the quarterback position. I think we see a consistent Tyler Higbee this year. And I think that's going to get him into the top 10 tight ends. At minimum, I would say top 12. But with Everett gone, with Cam Akers hurt, and the addition of Matt Stafford, I really think that we see Higbee as a top 10 tight end, and he has the upside to potentially sneak into the top 7, top 6 area. So Tyler Higbee is another bounce back player. I would like to see 2019. He finished as the tight end 8. So didn't do that last year, but I think with everything I just mentioned, I think we see him do that again. So real quick, just a couple honorable mentions that I'd like. AJ Green, I think we see a solid year from him, especially compared to where he's going. I don't have his ADP exactly in front of me, but where he's going, I think he's going to be this team's number 2 in this offense. Obviously, Larry Fitzgerald's gone, Dan Arnold's gone, and I think Kyler Murray throws the ball a little bit more, and I think that is to AJ Green's betterment or advantage, I guess. And then T.Y. Hilton, I spoke about a little bit when I talked about Carson Wentz. I think he's going to be a solid wide receiver this year. I think that he's going to be a little more consistent. And even though he is a little bit older, I do see him having a very solid year, bounce back year. Of course, I was going to make this my quarterback, but I think it's kind of obvious, and, especially comparing it to his ADP. But Dak Prescott, I think he's going to have a monster year. Going to come back from that ankle injury. He's got, like I said, 3 offensive linemen coming back. Plus Zeke's going to be there and healthy. CeeDee Lamb coming into his second year. Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Blake Jarwin is back and healthy. Dalton Schultz is there. So I think this is Dak Prescott's year. I love him to have a solid year, bounce back, of course, from that injury. And then finally, my last honorable mention, and he kind of killed me last year, but Kenny Golladay. He's interesting. My only concern with Kenny is, other than his health, is Daniel Jones. But I do think that he is this team's number 1. They did draft Kadarius Toney. Shepard is still there, but that really doesn't bother me. Kenny Golladay was the best wide receiver available in this draft class, and the Giants went out and got him for a reason. So watch him. I don't think he sneaks in the top 12 this year, but I do think we see Kenny Golladay return as a wide receiver 2 and half PPR standard, pretty much across all formats. So he is my last honorable mention. But anyways, guys, I appreciate your time. Like I said, if you could hit that subscribe button, the little bell icon, and then smash that like button, we would truly appreciate it. Also, if you could just tell one friend, we really appreciate that. Anyways, guys, thanks so much. It was great talking to you, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Love you.